any stack can be represented in two methods, one by using array method and one more by using linked list method. If a stack is empty, then top represent -1. -1 here it indicates null. At the runtime also we can able to increase the size, whereas in array method at the runtime we cannot able to increase the size. Push function add new item to the top of the stack, whereas pop function remove the top item from the stack and returns the item. Welcome back to one and all. Myself, Vasanta, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Today, we are to start with the 7th session of Data Structure chapter. Whereas already in the previous session, you come to know regarding two-dimensional array. Under that, representation of two-dimensional array, that is row major order, column major order. Whereas in row major order, first it will store all the first row, then second row and so on. Whereas in column major order, first it will store all first column elements, then later on second column element and so on. Then advantage of array, disadvantage of array as well as application of array. Regarding that you came to know in the previous session. Whereas on today's session, you will come to know regarding what do you mean by stacks, array representation of a stack, linked list representation of a stack, operation stacks, algorithm for push operation, algorithm for pop operation as well as application of stack. Regarding that you will come to know today. First, what do you mean by stack? Stack is a collection of items where insertion of item as well as a removal of item will take place at the same position. Consider one container here where inserting an element as well as deletion of element will take place at the same position. Consider here we have the array elements position wise 0, 1, 2, 3. Whereas stack is a collection of elements where insertion of element as well as removal of element will take place at the same position. That position can be called as top of the stack. Whereas array is also a collection of elements, linked is also a collection of elements only. But in array, it is a collection of homogeneous elements. Whereas in stack, we does not bother which type of elements it is, but mainly thing insertion as well as deletion will take place at the same position. Stack is a ordered collection of item where the addition of new item, that is insertion of new item, and removal of existing item, removing an item always takes place at the same end, same position. The end commonly referred as top of the array. Especially here we are not supposed to say array, it is the top of the stack we used to say. The end opposite to top is known as base here. This is the top, the opposite to top can be called as base here. And here it follows the technique LIFO as well as FILO. What do you mean by this? Here, last in, first out, first in, last out. For example, consider I am having one container here. On this, first I am going to insert the value 0, 1, 2. When I am inserting the value, it will not stand here, it will come and sit here on the position of 0. Then when I am inserting one more element, then B will come. When I insert one more element, then C will come here. But first I inserted A, B, C. But while removing, first I can able to remove C. The which one we are recently inserted, that item first we can able to remove. That is here, last in, first out. LIFO stands for last in, first out. See, last in is the C variable that only I can able to remove first. Or I can say first in, last out. See, whichever first I inserted, that it can move at the last also. It follows the technique. Last in, first out, or first in, last out technique it follows. Here, FILO, first in, last out. Whichever element, the first we inserted, that A, it can be removed at the last only. The element which we inserted last, that element can be removed first here. This is a major technique in stack it follows. Whereas in the queue, there it follows first in, first out, last in, last out. Whereas here in stack, it's the reverse of that. Stack can be represented using array methods as well as linked list method. The main thing you have to remember is, what do you mean by stack? Which is the major technique here it follows? What do you mean by top of the stack? Then any stack can be represented in two methods, one by using array method and one more by using linked list method. In array method, the stack can be represented using one-dimensional array format. Consider we have one container. In this, position wise 0, 1, 2. If I want, I can able to insert the element. First, when I am inserting the element, this 0 represents the top. For example, here I am to write E. Then afterwards, when I want to insert one more element, then here position wise 0, 1, 2. First, already I inserted A. One more item if I want to insert B, then it will insert at the position 1. Now that is the top. For example, one more element I want to insert here A, B, C or A, C, B. Here position 1, 0, 1, 2. Now this represents the top. If the stack is empty, position wise 0, 1, 2. If stack is empty, then minus 1 represent the top of the stack. Once if I inserted one element, the first 0 position can be called as top. Then second position can be called as top. Whereas here third position can be called as top. If the stack is empty, then top represents minus 1. The item into the stacks are stored on sequential order from the first location of the memory block. Usually from the first memory block, all the element used to store here. Top contains the location of the top element. See, already I told you here. Top contains the location where exactly the recent element is inserted, the top element. Max stack contains the maximum number of elements that can be stored in the stack. Whereas max stack contains maximum how many elements in the stack we can able to store. Whereas in this case, the maximum elements I can able to store 3. For example, if I have a stack, then here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That 4 represents the max stack. That means max stack contains the maximum number of elements in the stack we can able to store. If top equals max stack, then see here, now the topmost is the maximum element. If top equals max stack, indicate stack is full here. If it is 4 is the top maximum stack, then it indicates stack is full here. If top equals null, or I can say it as minus 1 also, then it indicates the stack is empty. If you observe here, if I have only one item, then 0 represents the top. If you have two items, 1 represents the top. If you have 3 items, then 2 represents the top. If stack is empty, then top represents minus 1. Minus 1 here it indicates null. If it is minus 1, it indicates stack is empty. But consider in this case, maximum 3 elements I can able to store, whereas here A, B, C, D, E. Afterwards, if I want to insert, that is not possible, is it no? On that time, we are going to get an overflow situation. To overcome from that, we need linked list concept. See here, consider one water bottle. On that bottle, you can able to pour the water. Maximum capacity, whatever the capacity of the bottle, that if it is filled, then once again if you want to pour the water on that, then what happens? That everything will be wasted. Is it no? That can be called as overflow situation. Sometime if requires more size in between them, then we require linked list. To overcome from this problem, we need linked list. Especially the maximum size, whatever size we have, only that much of element I can able to insert. If I want to insert one more element here, A, B, C, D, E I inserted. One more element if I want to insert, that is not possible by using stack, because on that time overflow situation will occur. That I cannot able to perform in this array method. For this sake, we need a linked list. Sometimes we require some more size, that it is not possible here. By that, for the sake, we are using the linked list concept. Whereas the linked list representation of an array means here, to overcome from overflow problem, we required linked list. Already I told you, maximum capacity, whatever the bottle capacity we have, only that much we can able to pour the water. If I want to pour some more water on that, that is not possible. That can be called as overflow situation. To overcome from that, we need a linked list concept. Whereas this helps to increase the size at runtime by creating a new node. At the runtime also, we can able to increase the size, whereas in array method, at the runtime, we cannot able to increase the size. For example, we have a collection. Linked list is nothing but a collection of nodes. Whereas start contains the address of first node. This is node 1. Node 1. This is node 2. This is node 3. If you observe here, each node contains two parts. One is data part and one more is address part. In the data part, it contains actual information, and in address part, it contains address of the next node. Whereas here, the second node contains the actual information as well as the address of next node. If the address part contains null, it means that is the end of that linked list. That means now it is the ended. It means that to overcome from the overflow problem, we need a linked list concept. It helps to perform insertion, deletion of a node also. If I want at the runtime, I can able to increase the size as well as decrease the size by using this linked list. Whereas by using array method at the runtime, I cannot able to increase as well as I cannot able to decrease also. Whereas by using linked list, we can able to increase as well as decrease. Now, which are the major operations? This is very important. Usually in the exam, you will get for 5 marks. Explain the operations of stack. Then, which are the major operations we can able to perform? Under that, the first operation called as stack. Here, stack function we used to write. If you write like only stack, that is a variable. If you want to represent stack function, then compulsory you have to write in a parenthesis. Then stack function. This function mainly helps to create one empty stack. It helps to create one empty stack. See here, for example, we have stack 0, 1, 2. It is used to create a new stack that is empty and returns an empty stack. It just tells you we have created one empty stack. Whereas stack function helps to create one empty stack. And the next one, push function. Inside the push, we have to mention item. Which item we are pushing? Push is nothing but adding a new item to the stack of the top. Consider now this is the empty stack. When I am inserting an element, that will insert at the position 0. Now A. A is the item where I can able to insert. Here push, inside the bracket, compulsory you have to mention item. It means that new item, that is A in this example, A we are inserting at the top of the stack. Next, we have pop function. Pop function helps to remove the item. Remove the item from the top of the stack. See here, whereas push function add new item to the top of the stack, whereas pop function remove the top item from the stack and returns the item. Which item we are removed, that also it will intimate you. Whereas push is nothing but inserting. Pop function is nothing but removing an item from the top of the stack. Then peek function helps to return the top item from the stack, but it does not remove it. It just tell you, this peek function just tell you where exactly, which is the topmost element in the stack. For example, here we have A, B, C. Then this 2 represents the top. It just tell you what is the topmost element in the stack. Whereas is empty function, peek function, next is empty function, it tests whether the stack is empty or not. It will not do any transaction. Here it just tests whether the stack is empty or not. Whereas the next one, size function, it returns the number of items from the stack and returns an integer value. How many elements are there? That size of the stack, especially here, how many elements are there in the stack, that it will return. It's a very important question. Usually you will get this question for 5 marks. Explain the operations performed on stack. Under that, stack function helps to create one empty stack. Push function helps to insert a new item to the top of the stack. Pop function helps to remove the topmost element from the stack. Whereas peek function, it will just tell you, peek means at the top, which is the topmost element. Is empty function helps to check whether the stack is empty or not. Whereas size function helps to tell you the total size, how many elements are there, the contents of the element, maximum capacity, how much exactly here we have, that it will going to tell you. These are the major operations performed on stack. Next, we'll explain the algorithm for push operation. This is also very important algorithm. Usually we'll get this algorithm for 3 marks as well as for 5 marks. What do you mean by push? Already I told you, inserting an item. Position wise 0, 1, 2. Here, first, before writing the algorithm, you have to mention which are the variables we are using in this algorithm. Whereas stack is the array that contains n number of elements and top is the topmost element of the array, whereas item is the element to be inserted. If top equals -1, what exactly it will indicate? Consider you have water bottle. On that, you have full of water. Is it possible to pour some more water on that? No, it is not possible. First, you have to check whether in the stack especially do you have space or not. How you come to know whether the space is there or not? See, here container, here I am having value A, B, C. Now, this 2 represents the top. If this 2 represents n-1, last element. See, if top equals n-1, if you have 0 or 1, then on that case, the top is not equals to n-1. If top equals n-1, then it has to print that stack is full. No need to process at all. It has to come out from the loop, exit. In the first step, if I want to insert any element, first I have to check whether top is n-1. If it is n-1, I cannot able to insert any values. I have to come out from the loop. For example, consider one more stack, position wise 0, 1. Here I am having value A and B. In the first step, it will check top is not equals to n-1 because now the top is 1. This represents n-2 represents n-1, but now I am having the top is 1. First condition is not satisfied. Then what is the second condition here? This top, whatever top we had, that we have to increment to the next higher order. Top equals top plus 1. Then now 2 represents the top. Then later on, new item has to be inserted to the stack top position. New item has to be inserted to the stack top position, then return. This 4-step carries 5 marks in the annual exam. First thing, you have to remember, if it is full, I cannot able to insert any items. How to identify full? If top equals n-1, then stack is full, no need to process. Otherwise, we have to increase the top, then new item has to be inserted to the stack top position, then return. Now is it clear? This is the algorithm to perform push operation. Next one, algorithm for pop operation. What do you mean by pop? Already I told you. Removing an item from the top of the stack. How to remove that element? For that, now I am going to explain the algorithm. Before writing the algorithm, you have to mention which are the variables we are using. Whereas stack is the array that contains n items, whereas top is the pointer to the top element of the array. Consider we have a stack, empty stack, position wise 0, 1, 2. If it is empty, then what about the top value? Top value represents the -1. Consider in the bottle, you don't have any water, it is empty. On that bottle, is it possible to remove any water? It is not possible. Whereas pop is nothing but removing an item from the top of the stack. Whereas here, if it is -1, if top represents -1, then it is empty, then I cannot able to remove any item. Then it has to come out from the loop. That's why first here, if top equals -1 or null, then it has to print that stack is empty, end of if. That is where to come out from the process itself. Otherwise, consider we have one element. 0, 1, 2. Here contains only one element. Now the 0 represents the top, for example. Then what you have to do? We have to move the stack top item to item place. Whatever top value here we have, that we have to move to item place. Stack of top element we have to move to item. Once if I moved top element, now previous case top is 0. Now what about top value After that, top represent in the beginning. Now it represents top is 0. Once if I remove, then top represent -1. That's why top equals top -1. One more example I am going to tell you. For example, here A, B, C. Position wise 0, 1, 2. Now this represents the top. Top, if it is equals to -1, no. Then it will come to the second step. Whatever element in the stack top, that we will move to item. Once if I move item, previous case top is 2. Now what about once if it is removed? Then this top represents 2. Now it represents 1. Top equals top -1. Then return. Now is it clear for all of you? This algorithm is also very important. This algorithm you will to get for 5 marks. Whereas push algorithm also is very important as well as pop algorithm. Next we will explain application of stack. Application means where exactly we are using stack concept. Under that it is used in backtracking. What is the backtracking? Consider in this we have the circle like this. Presently we are here. If I want to come back, then from the same path I have to come back. That is under backtracking. In backtracking we are using, then it is used in quick sorting. When we come on sorting, there are several types of sorting techniques are there. Under that, selection sort, bubble sort, insertion sort. In the same way, one more sorting technique is there, quick sort. There also we are using this stack concept. And it is used in runtime memory management. Runtime memory management, there also we are using stack concept. And it is used in conversion of infix expression into prefix and postfix expression. For example, if you have A plus B, then AB plus AB. This is infix, postfix, prefix. If I want to convert any infix expression to prefix as well as postfix, then we require this stack concept. Now is it clear for all of you? It means that on today's class you come to know regarding what do you mean by stack. Under that, advantage of stack, then the operations of stack, how to represent the stack. Regarding that you came to know. Next class you will come to know regarding what do you mean by queue, the advantage of queue, different types of queue, and which are the operations we can able to perform on queue. Regarding that, next class you will come to know. Thank you for all of you.